TV, a broader perspective.
Hello and welcome to Gender Corner. It's always a delight when we know that we are going to have rub minds together, have this conversation together. My name is Blessing Ambrose and I'm happy to have you today on the program. Gender Corner is a program that analyzes issues affecting women, issues how we can give women that voice, help them in development, kill the stereotype. This program helps in bringing out women and telling the world that men and women, we have equal rights to do whatsoever we want to do. We have very interesting conversation for you to also choke your mouth in this matter because it concerns everybody. What happens to one happens to all. You might say that, oh, I'm not a woman, so it doesn't concern me. Hey, come. It affects you even more than a woman. So we'll go on a short break. When we come back, we are going to unleash what we have in the package for you today, and I'm sure that you're going to like it. So stay on.
Over time, many women are rising to positions of leadership around the world and in traditionally male-dominated industries. There is an upsurge in women leadership. However, gender inequality, bias, and discrimination still exist. Despite the rise of women leaders, more inclusion and diversity in the workplace, disparities still exist and is widespread around the world. According to reports, only 30.6% of leadership positions are held by women, up only 0.2 percentage points since 2022. While progress was steady between 2015 and 2022, in the last 2 years, the gain slowed or even reversed. Leadership gaps persist even in industries where women are the majority of workers. While the industries with the lowest female representation in leadership tend to be the most heavily male-dominated in the workforce overall, having more women working in the industry does not guarantee women outnumber men in leadership positions. Female representation drops at every step of the career ladder to leadership. The first big hurdle women face is accessing the entry-level management position or landing at the most senior non-management positions. Even in the National Assembly, the 9th Assembly had 8 female senators, that is 7.3%, and 13 members of the House of Representatives, that is 3.16%, which represents 4.5% of the entire Assembly, while the 10th Assembly has 4 women out of 109 seats, that is 2.7%, and 17 out of 360 seats in the House of Representatives, that is 4.7%, which represents 4.2% of the 469-member Assembly. The journey towards gender equality in Nigeria has taken a significant step forward with the introduction and progression of the Extra Seat Bill. This bill is designed to enhance female representation in the nation's parliamentary system. It is a landmark piece of legislation aimed at addressing the historical underrepresentation of women in governance. The bill proposes the creation of 74 additional seats for women in Nigeria's National Assembly, specifically 37 seats in the Senate, 1 additional seat per state. The bill proposes to amend sections 48 and 49 of the Constitution to provide 1 special seat reserved exclusively for women in the Senate and House of Representatives for each state of the Federation. Though some persons are happy and supporting the bill, others call for outright rejection of the bill, stating that it offends the principle of the Constitution and has the potential to undermine political parties. As Nigeria is ranked the least in terms of gender representation in Africa, how can this gap be addressed? What are the structures that support women in cabinet, boardrooms, or workplace? What are the implications of this bill?
TV, a broader perspective.
You're welcome back. This is still Gender Corner on Beam Television. So today, what do we have on Gender Corner? What do we have to shed more light on? What do we have to draw your attention to? Women in leadership. We started this conversation last week, and today we are taking it to another dimension. And what is that? The extra seat for women in the parliament. How does it sound? Some persons are so happy about that, and some are saying no. Women, that is against the constitution. Let's get to the discussion. Welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me.
How was the GS25?
It was very insightful. Hearing diverse speakers, hear their opinion, it was just what we wanted it to be. And it was great to have you around too.
We are talking about women in leadership. And from the report, we have seen that we have 30.2% of women occupying leadership position in the country. And from 2015 to 2022, it was the number increased. But from 2022 till date, it's decreasing. Looking at the National Assembly, we had more women in the 9th Assembly. But in this 10th Assembly, we are having just 4. So what's going on?
Thank you for that very important question. I think this just depicts and shows us that a lot of people do not understand, still do not have the full grasp of the benefits of women in leadership. So, for example, statistics has shown that when we have diverse boards, organizations are more likely to make about 27% more profits. Research has also shown that when women are given when women are empowered, societies thrive. And families also thrive. And even just comparing Nigeria to other countries, we rank really poorly. According to the Interparliament Union, we score about 183%. We rank 183 of 193, which already shows that we have a lot of work to do. And when we do not have inclusive governance, we are losing out on a lot.
Yeah. Okay, so let me go to Princess. Princess, why do we have a decline in women representation from 2022 till date?
Thank you for having me, Blessing. Just to build on what my colleague was just speaking on, there are many challenges to women participation or representation or inclusion in governance. And one of the reasons for those decline has to do with the masculine nature of our politics, actually. Okay. And the zero-sum politics we play, so winner takes all. Which is an indication of the kind of electoral system we have, which is the first past the post system. And these political structures really do not facilitate or help or advance women political participation. Also on issues of structure, so these are structural issues. We also have things at economic level. So we do know that one of the reasons women consider one of the vulnerable groups in society because of historical exclusion from economic empowerment, political empowerment, and other levels of leadership. And we do know that running for elections, for instance, costs money. It costs a lot of money, actually. It's not just the buying of the form. It's actually the running for the election, so the logistics for election. INEC always talking about logistics for election. It's not only INEC that has logistics for election. Political parties, candidates also have their own logistics for election, and it's a lot of money. So, and if you don't have that or you can't raise that, it's to work against you. Both at the primary election, which is where the political party decide candidates, and also at the secondary election, which is where the electorate decide winners from the candidates that are placed before them. So there's also the traditional barriers. I mean, there are many traditions that say, woman, you're not supposed to talk. We have places where instead of if there is a 5-year-old boy in the house and the other people are sisters and mom, is the 5-year-old boy that will be allowed to come and sit where decisions about community will be made, rather than the older sister or the mom or that. Even where you're doing bride price, where you're paying, where they settle the bride price, It's only men that decide that. Women are not there. And these are part of the barriers of historically, excluded women. And that also spills into our public life, from the cultural, which is all part of the framework that affects women participation, women representation, women inclusion in leadership. Then we also have issues of religion. There are a lot of people, both in all religions, that turn the text upside down. They misrepresent and misread and misinterpret the text. And we all know that for religious texts, example, we have the spirit of the text and we have the text as it is. And because it's always been men that have always been in the forefront, men will interpret these things to fit and suit themselves.
Stay on the bill. What do we need to understand about this bill, and what is it going to do to the women folk?
So very important, like she has established, you cannot shave my head for me in my absence. That's basically what the bill is saying. So we need female representative who can bring issues around welfare issues, social welfare issues. I can really guarantee you that if we had more women, in critical leadership, we will not be where we are today. Because as I said, when a woman is economically empowered, and by economically empowered, it doesn't just mean finance. It means when she has voice, when she has agency, and when she has influence, the outcomes, always is always better for the family and society. So if we have seen that at the level of family, when a woman is empowered, everyone benefits. If we've seen at the level of organization, that when a woman is empowered in terms of when she's included in leadership, when we have diverse leadership, including persons with disabilities, there is economic benefits. Now let's try it as well for political, for in terms of political participation, and I can guarantee you that we'll see a difference. Look at Rwanda there. They have about 61% of women in parliament, and they have a thriving economy. Why you cannot say, women participation is equals to economic progression, but there's some correlation there, meaning that you can see that something is causing something. This is already telling you that the kind of policies that will pass will be different. There'll be policies with empathy and policies that would really change everyone, not just be about oneself, but about the whole community. And that would impact on the GDP in the long run.
Okay, so still staying on you, there's so many opinion from people about this bill that is not just about giving women. Are women really prepared for this?
Now, that's another thing that we have to really be very sincere about. A woman has, most women, not all women, have been socialized from birth to be seen but not heard. You understand? And now you're telling women to take up leadership. So one thing is very important that I hope and I'm trusting that as we are really working towards this bill, and I know that a lot of work has been done, that we are already mentoring. There's a lot of mentorship in terms of women who are in politics have mentored the ones coming behind. And the type of mentorship in terms of how do you negotiate, you understand? How do you fundraise? What does good governance looks like? So that when they do get there, you understand, they can make we can see transformative change, because even this reserved seat bill is not just permanent. It's going to be tested for 16 years, and if it works, then it will be adopted. If it doesn't work, then it will be abolished, or then it can be adapted or made better. So it's just a test. Can we test it and see? We've been running things this way. Can we check another way to see how we work? They said only a mad person does the same thing and expects a different result. Can we involve more persons, women, including women with disabilities, so that people can really speak for themselves and they can speak for the constituents and the identity, the different population group that they represent. So very, very critical.
We are more than 100% ready. There are enough capable women ready to contest and to take up positions of women leadership, any space in Nigeria. There are enough women. We are ready. Capacity overdrive, we're there. There are enough women ready. There have been women that have been contesting the election for long. And part of the reason why they've not been able to clinch tickets and all that is finance. It's finance. There have been women that have been in politics for years. You need to also listen to their stories and hear what they go through. What has been the challenges? That's this
So
question.
why still staying on that? What do they say is a challenge?
One of the major challenges is actually finance. Okay, so let me say, for instance, for 2019 election, how much, for instance, was expression of interest from? How much was it? How much was it in 2023? So sometimes this economic or this finance requirement by parties is also a tool to exclude, not just to exclude women, but to exclude people that have not stolen money. Because how do you bring out 100 million to buy form? Like, seriously? It's to exclude people that can actually make a difference in Nigeria.
When we are talking about preparedness, we are not just talking about mental preparedness. We should talk about financial preparedness.
It's a very important
and the
part.
money should not also come from your pocket. It should come from people should be able to rise up, because most of these men, they don't buy their forms by themselves.
That was why I said something about mentorship.
So yes, there are people that don't buy phones by themselves. Yeah, we had a former president where a group claimed that they are buying the phone for, and all of that. But there are many people that bought the phones for themselves. And there are also women that also bought phones. Let's not forget that. There are women that bought phone. So the presidential elections is the most popular election in Nigeria. I mean, it's clear even from the voter turnout. The national elections, the voter turnout is usually way, way higher than when the state governorship election and the state assembly election will be conducted. The voter turnout could drop by almost 50%. That's to tell you the level of focus. And but at all these other levels where our eyes are not so popular, women are contesting. So coming to this seat bill, women, it's not women begging. It's not tokenism. It's, like I explained, it's just a sure way how it has been done across the world, not only in Nigeria, in Europe, in Latin America, in North America, in everywhere, in Africa. Africa is our closest example. Everywhere in Africa, it has been through legislation, either and usually constitution. From South Africa to Kenya to Tanzania to Rwanda, everywhere you've seen increased women political representation and in public space, it has been through the law. It has been through law. And in terms of running for election, it's an elective position. It's not appointive. So appointive is where your governor or Mr. President comes and give you appointment. Oh, Blessing Ambrose has been named the new DG of so. That's an appointment. But elective seats are ran for. It's a contest. So it will be, we have 19 political parties presently. If the 19 political parties have their candidate, they'll feed. It's just that for this seat, it's only women that will be the people being feeded. So at their primary level, so each party would have conducted primaries. And of course, the political primaries for this seat will be only women that will be running. So to have only women aspirants running to be candidates. So the person that clinches so you know what goes on for primaries. Every political party have their own rules, regulation, constitution guiding how they conduct their primaries. Of course, we have the law that gave 3 ways you can do primaries: direct, indirect, or consensus candidates. Of course, that follows the requirements of the law. So whatever way the political party chooses to do their primary, whether it's consensus, whether it's indirect, whether it's direct, is their own decision. But for this particular seat, the person coming out must be a woman. So she goes to contest against other women of other political parties for these seats. And you do, if you don't do campaign for your election, who will vote you? Who will know you? You have to campaign now. You have to create awareness. You have to do everything. But in this space now, it's almost like a safe space because you're contesting against your fellow woman. You're not contesting against men. One of the things women actually suffer is brutality. We've had situations during political party primary where female candidate aspirants have been stripped naked, while the men will send their thugs to attack. We had young girls stripped naked, brutalized. A lady was kidnapped a day to party primary. She lost the baby. She was pregnant. She lost her baby. So it's all these awful practices, the masculine nature of politics, the zero-sum game, what we call in Nigeria, do or die politics. democracy in itself, what defines it, what makes it stand out, what makes it different, is that representation. So, because all of us 200 million cannot be at the National Assembly, we send people there that will be speaking for us. That's why they are called representatives. And now, those representatives only have men. Men can speak for, a man cannot speak for me. Does he know what I go through when I'm seeing my menses? Does he understand about menopause? What does he understand about being a woman? Exactly, about pregnancy. Does he know what it means for a woman that when you're giving birth, it's really literally 50-50. A woman is always at the death zone when you are childbearing. Do a man know that? Has he ever been pregnant? Has he gone through that? So how would he be able to feel what I feel? That is why we need representation. Look, our representation should be truly representation. Let's really have all strata of the population represented at our assemblies, both at the national and at the state level. Thank you.
Looking at all these challenges, looking at all these setbacks, what are the voices and approaches for accelerating an inclusive society?
So thank you. So this reserved bill present that opportunity, because one of the ways for you to have an inclusive, for you to apply an inclusive approach is to ensure that everyone is involved in the process. And what the reserved bill will do for us is to ensure that we are able to have more people in the room, and then we're able to make decisions that would align with key population that would have left out. So this reserved bill will do that. And one of the things it would also do is that who is our ear, like she says. If you don't understand my struggle, if you don't understand my pain, you can't really speak for me. So that's another approach. And one thing I want to also reiterate, maybe I didn't say it the first time, is that since this reserved bill will be tested for 16 years, let's give it a chance. Let's give it some evidence. This is a pilot of some sort. So let's pilot it. Let's give women the opportunity to run, to also the 37 seat, let it be included. One of the things they have said is that it is expensive, but only 1% it's not even up to 1% of the national budget. And one of the gains of this bill is that it would also, because again, when you have inclusive governance, when you have inclusive leadership, there are economic benefits for it.
All right, thank you very much. At this point, we want to go on a short break. When we return, we are going to do finishing touches to this particular topic of concern. So stay with us.
Beam TV, a broader perspective.
Welcome back. This is still Gender Corner on Beam Television, and this is your host, Blessing Ambrose. If you were here before we started the program, we told you that we are looking at women in leadership, and the focus this week is on the extra seats for women in the parliament, and we've done justice to the topic already, and we are preparing to wrap up this program. So in case you're just joining us, you have missed a little bit. There's always a second chance. Either you watch the repeats of this program, or you go on our social media platforms, and then you will get a grasp of everything that we've discussed here. So, what do you see as the outcome of this bill?
Okay, so the outcome.
See it selling through, or they'll just keep it in view?
I'm very hopeful. You can tell me, maybe call me crazy, but I'm very hopeful. I'm hopeful because I have information, because I feel like it will cause no harm, and the gains are just glaring. So I don't think anyone should refute it. And I feel like for it, I'm hopeful because I believe that you will keep on, a lot of organizations and platforms will keep doing what you're doing in terms of creating awareness about the bill, because you can only make decisions on what you really know. You can only make informed decision. And when we keep doing that, people's minds will keep changing. And when people's minds are then changed, then you will now see action taken towards the line we want to see.
If it does, if it sells through, what is going to be the implication?
Okay. Just like Kemi said, I'm mega hopeful, not just really, really mega hopeful that it will pass both at the House of Rep and at the Senate, and that Mr. President will also sign it into law. I'm very hopeful about that. Actually, this is a legacy project. So any smart politician would jump on it with both hand, leg, everything you have, jump on it. Yes, it's I mean, posterity is going to judge. Are you going to be counted when our children are talking about this moment in time? So if you're a smart man, you better jump on it and carry this bill on your head like gala. Then what are the implications? Oh, excellent. We get this passed, you will see the difference. You will see how, I mean, even you will see the transformation in society in terms of the social policies, the social actions we need to actually move this Nigeria forward.
Thank you very much, Princess Haman Obels, Director of Initiative for Research, Innovation and Advocacy in Development, for making our time to be with us today and for sharing your thoughts. And we are hopeful that this bill is going to sell through. And also Adekemi Omole, Gender and Inclusion Lead, Gender for Policy Innovation Center. Thank you for making our time to be with us today. And we'll have more of you. After the bill is passed, we are going to call you back so that you come and tell us the agenda for the next move. So it was nice. Sure. It was nice discussing with you, and it was nice to bring to fore so that you have a clear understanding, and I believe that you have a clear understanding now, so that when they say that give women the opportunities, not about women being on top or women taking over the men, is for them to work side by side to make sure that our country is a better place. So that's the size of our package today on Gender Corner. If you want to be part of this program, please do well to use the digits on the screen and then reach out to us. We are going to sure invite you. Trust me, on Gender Corner, we are there to give you the best. My name is Theo Blessing Ambrose. Have a lovely time.
Beam TV, a broader perspective.